Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Container packed with supplies that need to make their way to families in Africa like yesterday. You said this is a 53-foot trailer? This trailer is packed with medical supplies destined to the motherland. We need to help get these out of here. What were you taught about marriage? Did it have you properly prepared for the journey or desperately frustrated looking for the nearest escape? I'm Shar, founder of Law for Love, the most special place in the legal system in Atlanta. And after navigating families through the court system for more than 13 years, we are now taking those lessons learned to serve and support families to build healthier, happier, more purposeful marriages. Join us live on YouTube at Law for Love ATL Monday nights for our family meetings. Yes, grown folk discussions.
Shalom. Salama. The Yemi Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Well, and also my Gentile brothers and sisters that are covered under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Welcome this morning for a Quest to Unite Africa discussions live. Shout out to Journey with us. They had first informed me, at least, as I was cracking my eyes open this morning, looking at YouTube and seeing there was a major outage going. And that outage was a Microsoft outage. And that Microsoft outage was caused on CrowdStrike. And a lot of things have been affected. Shalom, brother Mike.
Shalom, brother Karras, and everybody in the chat. Hope your day is going well so far. It's always some drama with somebody mama when you're waking up early in the morning.
Oh yeah, it is. Look, I was talking to Mike. I was talking to him about some things, and Mike said, "Karras, do you know what's going on with this Microsoft thing? The Microsoft is down." I said, "Yeah, I kind of heard some things about CloudStrike. I was trying to run and do an errand early in the morning before I got on. And it was one of those days that I needed to get me some coffee. And I went through the drive-through and they said, sorry, we cannot take your order. And this was at Starbucks. And I said, boy, if Starbucks is down, that's a big outage. That's a big outage.
Starbucks down, that sounds like Armageddon, man. These people go, what? Wait, hold on. I can't get my, I cannot get my cup of Joe?
I can't
Man,
get my
please.
coffee. You can't give me no coffee? You can't, what? Oh. So as that happened, I said, let me go and see. Because then it was one of those things. I said, well, if that's happened to Starbucks, what's going on with the Quest 2 Night Africa, website, what's going on with our environment? There's reasons why we ask for support because when you do have an environment, coming online, doing these shows, and then being able to actually have an impact around the world, global, or not just globally. Yeah, I'd actually say globally. Yeah. But especially focusing on the continent, um, there are some things that we strategically plan for. And part of that is there in our budget, we have Azure. Azure is basically your back end support. Yeah, so if you're at work and you're trying to work, chances are you may not be doing anything because, yeah, your stuff is down. And so last year, I used to work for a cybersecurity firm. And the cybersecurity firm, they used Varonis. It was a competitor for CloudStrike. And so when I had gotten let go, one of the things I was looking at because they, even the folks there at the office, they're, before you get let go, there's always rumblings and things of that nature. Because the tech slaughter was going on early 2023, and I happened to be caught up into there. But folks were already kind of rumbling about CrowdStrike and that competitor, that competition. And so I was already checking out, CloudStrike. I have um, my education and some certifications in cybersecurity. So I was looking into that. And, one of the things that I had taught to Red, I'm always big about cybersecurity, especially with my military background, everything else. I said, Red, are we going to be good with cybersecurity? And Red said, he's like, Brother Karras, don't worry about it. So that I have everything taken care of. Because I was having all these suggestions, like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Why don't we check into this, check into that? CloudStrike was actually one of the things I said to Red. And Red said, no, we don't need any of that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to configure everything in Azure and have all of our stuff, the way that it needs to be. So we won't be vulnerable. And I said, okay, because what a lot of these applications do is that what goes on, it is a software as a service. And that software as a service is a cloud based or an infrastructure cloud as a service, an ICAS. And that is a program that then you're interacting your software to that server that's then monitoring and controlling, security protocol. And so part of, doing that, you want to make sure that you're talking with the company, you're working with the IT folks, and then as the IT folks are, doing the configurations, those updates, then you put the patch on out there, and then that patch goes through usually when overnight when folks aren't working, and they then will see relatively minor changes. Things may be just a little bit slower as those protocols and rules are enforced, but generally speaking, they don't see any latency. So as I read some of this story, I'll put that on out here, CNBC, and there are some things on Associated Press and things of that nature. I said, well, if they have that down, I said, yeah, a lot of the government is gonna be affected, and it is, and it is, and I know a lot of our folks, work in government jobs, and are really more than likely on the clock right now because it's 7:30. And so this Friday may just be a down day that, if you're able to have your cell phone, you know, and listening and you're able to listen in, hey, uh, there you go. But I kind of thought to myself right now and earlier, as I'm hearing all this, I get a text late last night. I was already asleep, but then, I looked at the phone and I got a text from somebody that said Biden was getting ready to step down. And, when I hear that Biden was getting ready to step down, all I think is, yeah, sometimes a lot of these things are lip service. And then you'll hear a couple days later, Biden's not going to go anywhere. And now I'm not going to be surprised that in a few days or maybe by the end of the day, Biden says that he's not going to go anywhere. I won't be surprised. Because to me, just in the um, peripheral of things, I see it that, man, Biden is not, you know, if he says he's going to be going, they must have gave him that ultimatum. And for lack of better words, here on YouTube, a platform that is heavily censored and monitored with our AI overlords ever so present and vigilant on these live streams. We have to be very careful of what we're saying and how we're saying it. But I would not doubt that there was some um, uh, concessions of a loss of certain things. So there were probably some threats being breathed, you know, of the lack of breathing apparatus. I'm just saying. He at an older age, it's kind of hard for coroners to tell what was what in terms of natural causes. I'm just saying. You have literally, the heart just gives out. The massive heart attack, it just happens. My grandfather was around his age. Now he was about 87. He was about 87. So he still had about 6 more years on him. And he was in really good shape. Did construction and everything else. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, Pelosi done gave him the bag. See, that's what that was. Thank you, Grim Sincere. Thank you. I was worried about the strike, the crowd strikes, you know, cyber attack slash um, update. But yeah, no, I haven't seen that yet with Pelosi. So I mean, if it is, it is. And it says that it's a pressure for him to step down, and I'll put that in here. Yeah, he's going to be pressured. So I put that on out there in the chat. Yeah, and yeah, he got the cookie, the bad cookies. And with the bad cookies it was, well, he can't perform he can't, it's clogging his mental apparatus, his mental functions. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me find this one again. Oh no, I have to here on Quest to Unite Africa because oh boy, Mike, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble on this. And this is not. I mean, oh boy. Okay. We are not endorsing. We're not endorsing. This is apolitical, but I'm sorry there was just too much stuff going on. It was too much. It was too much. Oh my goodness. Whew. Here we go, family. I'm sorry, family. I'm laughing because I gotta pull these articles up just so you know. Man, just so you know that I ain't tripping, I ain't crazy. let me drop this here. Let me drop this here. Whew. Let me get this link up in the chat. Let me get this link up in the chat. I think y'all saw some of this. And it was excruciating. It was excruciating to hear. Let me get this on out here. My screen is shared. Let's go here.
And so it's all about treating people with dignity. And it's about making sure that, look, I mean, for example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named, it's to a black man. And to a black man. And to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown.
All right.
Is that real?
I had to play that over and over and over again. He named a black man.
What is it? What is it about black people that keeps coming out of these people's mouth? One moment, the migrants taking the black jobs, and he naming somebody on his security. Oh boy, shoot, man, please.
Mike, I'm sharing this.
Is that him? He named?
Man, the internet is savage. It is savage. Oh,
Black man, ain't that something?
Secretary of Defense. No, they did not. Yo, I'm sorry. That had me rolling on the floor, laughing my behind off for at least 15 minutes. WH.gov. And it's a parody. It's not real. Family, it's not real. It's a parody. But that mess is funny. The Black Maine Secretary of Defense. Oh my goodness. Well, the black man is actually Lloyd Austin. And I guess you know how he feels about Lloyd Austin. He feels that he's a black man. Well, I mean, black man, black jobs, you know. Oh,
Oh boy. This is how it ends. Okay.
This is how, oh my goodness. Black man with a black job. That's right. That's right, Sister Cammy. That's right. You got a black job. Who's in a black job? Just a black man. Oh man. Wow. Boy, oh boy. No. No, brother Arnold. No, 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 no. Who is there in the Department of Defense? Him right there, the HNIC.
I tell you, you got to be joking me. Got to be joking me.
Oh my goodness. We got to support the black man Secretary of Defense because that's only the last good black job that's on out there. I'm just saying. Oh, I saw that. I said, is this real? It is real. You cannot make that up.
I named the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean,
When was this interview?
This was probably a couple of days ago, but they like released it yesterday afternoon.
You know what?
sometime.
I'm gonna say this: with all of this technology out here, and all they had to do is, man. I mean, you got these voiceovers. You can clone his voice.
Yeah, but Mike, this is BET. Remember, they tried to get away with this in Milwaukee last week. And remember, the person that did that, they got fired.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, yeah. So BET wasn't going to have that chance because somebody there was going to rat. And somebody there was going to be like,
yeah,
nah, this wasn't what this dude was saying. Here is the actual interview.
Wow. Okay.
Nah, look, black folks are kind of been done with this for a minute. So you know, it's not the same age group. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same generation. I'm not gonna say age group, but it's not the same generation. It's not the same time.
Mm. Mm. They're trying their best to drag us into their mess. That's it. Carlito's way. When Carlito's I got out the game and you all just pulling me back into the game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
Dorothy
it.
Osborne. Dorothy Osborne's absolutely correct. Yeah, one of his events, he shook hands, greeted all of his folks, but when he came to young sister, he skipped over her. Yeah, you could see the disappointment on her face, and I saw that. It was. I knew it was on Teo Ministries Facebook. I saw that the other day, and I'm like, I wasn't surprised.
I mean, I didn't see that, but what had happened?
It was at a campaign rally.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a black girl that was there. She had her sign and poster, and she was in the front waiting um to shake hands with President Biden, and he skips over her and shakes hands with the Hispanic women.
Man, you don't have that video?
Oh no, I don't have it. I don't have it. I kind of looked at that. I was like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Especially what's going on in Chicago. Yes. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
It's like, wasn't surprised. It's sad. It's sad, but I'm like, but this is what happens. Is anybody surprised? What did you think was going to happen? How do you think, things were going to, look? That folks are, that was going to happen. That type of respect. I mean, we've been used to the lack of respect. So, as that had happened, that was a few days ago. So, you put that in the Facebook. Unless you got that thing saved, that thing goes to, post oblivion.
I'm still kind of at a who's moving this man? Who is really, geeking this man up to have these interviews when you very well know he's going to mess it up? That's the thing. He needs to have COVID every single day. If that's the case, if that's what they go use for the lie, so be it. Say, hey, he's sick.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to use. That's exactly what they've been using.
Mm.
It is it is very sad.
This man is depicting the state of the West is weak. He's literally showing, yes, you have a weak president, you got a weak system, you got a weak government. They done lost the what's their title? World power. They said no, they're not worried about that. They don't have they're not a world power. This is what the world is saying. Shucks, dude. Then he get on there and what was his first campaign? If you ain't black, what did he say about you? If you don't vote for me, you're not black, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now it's slapping them in the face now. It's literally slapping him in the face. They had a Photoshop of him with braids. Tell me if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. And then people are like, do y'all even understand his policy, his stance? I don't care what you say about, folks that talk this and talk that, but if you don't even have, or if there is no track record of pushing out laws that had negatively affected the black community, and his laws did, let's be honest, they negatively affected the black community. They tore apart the black family, the African American family. This was something that, we didn't, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say we as in the black community. No, they did not want to address. Not only did they not want to address it, they did not, excuse me, they wanted to keep their heads in the sands like it was never the case. And I know growing up good and well, and I've seen that affect some of my family members. Nah, I remember this. I remember what it did to my cousins. I remember. So, I understand a lot of our people, they love to be mentally coddled. And can you blame us? Can you blame our people? That's what we've been living with. That's what we've been doing for the last 400 years. Excuse me. For the last 400 years, that's how we've been here in the United States. Brother Mike, what say you?
Yep. Neither one of them. Neither. I don't care who the president been, was, is, or going to be. Let's just hypothetically speaking. Let's just say what's that woman? Kamala Harris. She steps into his place.
Mm-hmm.
You can guarantee the state of black people will still be the same, or it may get a little bit worse, but it's going to be at least the same. It's not going to be a change. It's not. And then this pacifying people with money here, a little money there, and then you have some politicians say, "Hey, things are getting better for black Americans." That's a lie. And so, I mean, they can keep that. Man, please, they can keep it. You don't sit up here and play with people like that. Now you done got black people in survival mode.
Yeah.
That survival mode is a very dangerous mode, not for us, but for them.
Yes. Yes, it is.
That's what that is. It's a very dangerous mode for them, for us to be in that. No. Ooh. These people, they done rolled the wrong dice.
Mm-hmm.
They done rolled the wrong dice. They done crapped out. They have crapped out.
Mm.
I we you know what's so basic about this political arena and all this shenanigans they doing? We still do not have a crime bill.
No.
All the other nations have one. We do not have one. Not even a sentence, much less a paragraph. I mean, you think about the small things. Well, I ain't gonna say that's a small thing. It need to be a big one. Because I mean, what all these, deletion of young black men and women. I would go say just men, but the women they've been getting it too.
Yeah.
And please, I mean, you about to take me down the road? You miss Mike, calm down. I was trying to say something. We get banned, but ooh, the stuff that we contend with. But the good thing about it, the world is watching. The world is seeing. That's what the world is doing. They looking at all of this stuff. They looking at it, and but here the West, they want to keep everything. They want to make sure that you distracted. I never seen so much black entertainers in the news. Somebody's having shocking, revealing secrets about this particular black entertainer. And just to get everybody's attention, to get you off of what's really going on. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, sorry, family. This is going to be a little bit of a different show today. If you hadn't noticed,
Talk to me.
Okay, here is this one. Let me go ahead. I have to share this, and we got to talk about this because this does. This is what affects the continent. Let me go ahead and present this on over. Why is this important? This affects the continent. Why? Because let me tell you this right here. This is let me just read this article. Drone strike by Yemen's Houthi rebels kills one person and wounds at least 10 in Tel Aviv. Let me just read this article. An Iranian-made drone sent by Yemen's Houthi rebels struck Tel Aviv on Friday, leaving one person dead and at least 10 wounded in the group's first lethal strike into Israel. The aerial strike, the first lethal Houthi attack in Israel, rumbled through the center of the city near the U.S. Embassy, causing shrapnel to rain down and spreading shards of glass over a large radius. I have that in there. This family, this is a big deal. This is in Tel Aviv. It looks like it just happened yesterday.
Tel Aviv got hit.
Tel Aviv got hit. No, these are Iranian-made Samad 3s. Iranian-made Samad 3s. They can get up to about 150 miles an hour. They're very small. depending on how they have been made, what their payload is, where they're targeting. I'm going to tell you the simple fact that they broke into that Eastern Mediterranean nation's defenses is crazy. And on top of that, you have a Microsoft outage. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't look at things as happenstance. I look at everything as everything is interconnected. Because if you didn't know anything about cybersecurity firms in America, cybersecurity firms in America are owned most of them are owned by Israeli corporations. That's a fact. It's a fact.
Mm, mm, mm.
So this is what's happening at this time. And let me also tell you about this, and you can draw your own conclusions. This is Question Unite Africa. There is a reason for things. There's always a reason for things going down. I never look at things as happenstance. Okay. A patch, an update, okay. I was just listening to a commentator the other day that, you know, in order for Israel to do anything with Lebanon, they have to have the United States. And I wholeheartedly agree with them. You just have to. And that's not the derogatory slight. It's not. It's just that is the reality. But I want you to understand what that means in the bigger comparison of things, and potentially why you have an outage with Microsoft with what's happening in Tel Aviv, because one could deduce that, hey, if you're not on board with helping us in this fight, then potentially your systems will get wrecked. That could be an argument that could be deduced. Let me show you how bad this thing could be if we go online or offline. On top of that, now that actually shows you the extent of the regional partnerships there in the Middle East, because in order for the in order for the Houthis to even have a shot on Tel Aviv. Yemen has to fly that thing through the Red Sea, and not just fly it through the Red Sea. They're going to fly it through countries like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Egypt. Remember back in April, and they said, hey, we were able to down all those. I don't think it was April. I think it was earlier than April. But they said we were able to down all those drones from this, and all that other stuff. And they had an incursion with Iran firing, supposedly. And I believe they did. I believe they fired. To me, I don't believe the retaliatory strike. They hit targets in Iran. That had never been confirmed. They hit targets near Iran and Iraq. Iraq has just been the punching bag. If you didn't know anything about regional politics, especially in the Middle East, man, Iraq is just that the dog that just gets kicked. That's how they feel about Iraq. Hey, we did something to you. All right. All those missile and rocket strikes, that was just over in Iraq. But if you want to say it's Iran, hey, do you. Do you. And then it was all of a sudden Racy dies about a couple months later in the helicopter crash. Now, the thing is that here was the issue. A couple of weeks ago, the Yahya Sarey, or Yahya Sarey, the Houthi spokesman for there in Yemen, he had said this to, well, the Houthis claimed to have said this to the Saudis, that if they interfered with any strikes, this is a couple of weeks, this is actually about a month or so ago, that if they interfered with any strikes targeting that Eastern Mediterranean nation, that they were going to target Iran, or excuse me, Saudi Arabian oil fields. Why is that a big deal? Because in 2023, China just guaranteed a peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. In 2024, Houthis said that they were standing in solidarity with the Palestinians. And they said that they were going to, quote, it was paraphrased, that they were going to take the fight to that Eastern Mediterranean nation. The last time when Iran retaliated, You had Saudi Arabia and Jordan downing the missiles and drones that were being launched from out of Iran. It was still pretty overwhelming. They still had some impacts there in the Eastern Mediterranean nation. But the Houthis said, hey, Saudi Arabia, if you want to help, again, you're next. And you know what? I can guarantee you know what the Saudis did? They picked up the phone. They called China and Iran talking about, are you going to be able to control the Houthis? And they're going to say, no, they're their own people. I can't control that. If they're going to have clapback, you best stay out the way.
This is how it goes. Ain't that something?
So they had the clapback. And with the drones, it was probably a good swarm. Probably dozens of drones. But you want to know what that does. What that does is that's telling that Eastern Mediterranean nation, if you try to look north, you better check your six. If you think you're heading north, you better check your six, because if you want to do what you're thinking that you're going to plan to do, and you don't have any help from the West, or even if you do have help from the West, you all know that they can't get on over into the Red Sea. It was purported, actually, I think about 3-4 weeks ago. And this is what's speculated, so I don't know too much. It's not on out there, but this is what's speculated. It was speculated that Russia via Iran had sent on over hypersonics to the Houthis. That's the game changer, folks. That's the game changer, ladies and gentlemen. So, if your economy is already getting torn up and jacked up, and then you really can't move any ships through the Red Sea because somebody was adamant that they wanted to go to war at all costs, even at the detriment of your very own nation, then that becomes a big problem. There's a lot of news that transpired these last 24 hours. Thank you, Brother Garth, for the script, but boy, oh boy, there's a lot of news. We haven't even gotten into Kenyans protest. Folks are getting killed in Kenya.
But don't you see this kind of being overwhelming for the West? I mean, along with within what's going on within itself.
Absolutely. This is all very overwhelming. Look, it's one of those things. This is the very first time. What people don't like to see, well, actually not see, what people don't like to say. They don't like to say that these are coordinated attacks, and they are. They are coordinated attacks. But when it's a psychological um imperative. It's on the psyche. No, it's not a psychological or a coordinated attack. It cannot be a coordinated attack. No, we would know about these coordinated attacks. That damages the psyche. That's you're
Hmm.
telling me it's a psychological attack? How do you know? I don't believe it. That those are trigger words. It triggers.
So do we still have what did they say? 90 days? Or do you think this is going to pop off a whole lot sooner?
Well, I think we're halfway, right? Because you got August and then September. I would probably say more than likely late September. It's too hot
But
over
don't
there
you think?
to do anything. It's too hot. They don't like to fight in this type of weather. They don't fight in this
Oh
type of
man, who don't?
the West doesn't. They don't fight in this type of weather.
Alrighty.
They don't like to.
Mm.
They'll just do some little glazing attacks. They'll shoot over some drones, but they're not moving any type of people or manpower.
Well, I mean, they want to kick in this draft and everything. I'm just like, 3 months? You really truly talk to me.
I think, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to prime an event that then creates the conditions. I would like to say that it creates the conditions for a draft to be instituted, right? And I'm going to say this. I'll say this right here. I'll try not to get too controversial. This is Question Night Africa. I'm going to say this. They will probably do a draft on the basis, let me tell you what the basis will be, of national security in regards to internal security, right? So it's going to be I would say this, I would speculate this. It's going to be a different draft. You're not going to folks are going to get drafted. They'll be drafted, right? But the draft is for National Guard elements,
Mm.
National Guard efforts. Why is that? Because do you see all the things, all the rhetoric that's going on? And that rhetoric is dangerous and this and that. Nah, they're not going to do a shutdown. They can't do a shutdown. They do another shutdown, yeah, folks are going to be gone. They do another shutdown, folks will try to take that opportunity and they'll try to get their visas, they'll try to get their passports, they'll try to get anywhere because they realize something's happening. Look, the reason why I say that is because you're still in a relatively short span of history, right? 4 years, you're still within that 10-year window of remembering things, a 10-year window of a sharp memory. So to have that is to say, yeah, folks are going to try to up and go somewhere else. So now you have F-16s flying in Ukraine. That crossed the red line. China just broke off an arms deal because of Taiwan. In my personal opinion, this is one of the most. Now we're in that red area. If anybody's ever been to the shooting range, right? You have the target. You start to have the bullseye, right? And then you have the target ring of how close you get to the bullseye to measure your accuracy. I'm gonna say we're now on the outer edges of the bullseye. We're now in that target. Because now all the sites are being lined up. And it's not going to be anything pretty. Fall time is what they like to look at. December, January is when they don't like to, they stop. They don't like to fight in the cold and they don't like to fight in the heat. Spring,
Well, Dad,
fall and spring is it. Fall and spring is it. Those are their fighting seasons. Yeah, no, that creates the problem that they're facing. And Shar said that right. Where are they going to run to? There's nowhere to run to. Where will you run to? Where will you go? And you really don't have the time and space to get to where you need to go. You don't. So now this creates the issues that we're seeing taking place. So how will this get better? People like to say it's going to get better. Trust you me, it's going to get better. And then every single day something comes on out, and of course they don't want to admit that, look, it's not getting better, it is getting worse. It's getting worse in the domestic arena. You have folks wearing their white bandage at the RNC. You had a Trump speech that was one of the longest speeches, I think they said, in RNC history. So we're in a time that's very pivotal. But it doesn't mean that we don't have hope. No. It just means that we have to do a lot more, I would say, planning and how to navigate these situations here.
You're seeing a whole world coming up against one nation. If you don't see that, then Most High said his people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge. but we have knowledge and we seeing what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You have this knowledge. The world has this knowledge. Hey, the whole world is coming against one nation. Individually we can stay asleep if we want. Hey, but you go pay that cost though. I mean, you see the storm, and yet and still you want to walk out with a t-shirt on, no umbrella. Hey, you gonna suffer for your decision. It's just that simple.
Yeah. This was a hard. It's a hard environment to be in. It truly is. And I don't want anybody to be fooled. We're in some very interesting times. But this is why the work here at Quest to Unite Africa is pivotal. I talk to Mike every day. Regarding what we're doing, how we're trying to do things, how we're moving things along. And with Mike, he's itching over there, getting things done, getting things taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell Mike, I said, I understand. And I said, I told him, I said, look, I get it. We're all here. We're all in the midst of this, of these things. Nobody here is really getting any good news like that anymore. Especially not for this nation or country at all. We're in a time to where there's a lot of moving parts. That, I guess the word would be very concerning to a lot of folks, especially if this was your dream. And a lot of our people, this was it. This was the dream. This is their future. This is their foundation. This was their hope. So now with their hopes and their dreams really being affected in this manner, what can they turn to? See, when you have a people that has had to understand dreams deferred, that has had to understand that their hopes of such and such is not it's not necessarily, the case anymore. And we have let's put this all on the table. We have a people to where we have been, blindly trying to say, look, this is it, this is that. We could do this, we could do that. It's gonna get better. It's gonna be all right. We've been singing that tune. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna get better. It was a blind optimism. And that's what had happened amongst our people. It was a very blind optimism. And now you have, and really what it is, it's the Mickey Mouse generation that had been conditioned to always think ahead or always think positively. Nothing's going to get you down. All these songs that, hey, it's not the fact of repent. It's not the fact of turn from your ways. It's not the fact of you may need to take a look and see what you're doing, because your way of doing things may not necessarily be a very good way. It was none of that. Don't critically look at yourself. And if you look at yourself, you're not like what you see, don't run away from it. Don't ignore it. Address it. Confront it. So then what? So you can then heal. You can then move on. And that was not the case. It went in a totally opposite direction. I don't want to confront it. And matter of fact, I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. Remember, America is now dealing with the label of the get your cider up with that Eastern Mediterranean nation. If you catch my drift of getting your cider up with Jen in your side.
Niggas like that?
Yeah, their standing in the world has been tremendously affected. Let's not be coy or naive. This is what's happening. So now everybody has to jump in. This is it. When people say, well, I don't see things going to war, come on now. I think right now folks can see that there's going to be a battle, a conflict on the horizon. I think that a lot of our people have resolved that one because it had to be resolved. It was just going to be a little bit of time to, get through their walls of, being heavily sensitized to them being desensitized. It was a desensitization process. And it was at work, and it was working for the last couple of months. Shoot, years, believe it or not. But all I can say honestly right now is I'm glad that the Most High has allowed things to move and happen even during this time of incredible uncertainty. incredible uncertainty. Your donations has made a world of difference. Your support has made a world of difference. If you don't think that things aren't happening on the continent, you better think again. All I'm praying is that it doesn't take a cybersecurity effort or some sort of an attack for our people to start supporting one another, when we can be doing it, and we are doing it right now. Nothing's going to slow up in this process, in this time of going to the cliff. I would say, what can we do together before things fall off the cliff? We can do it. We did it before as a people, and we can do it again. But this effort, it takes all of our support. This is a boulder of heavy lifting that's been placed on us for 400 years. And now's not the time to give up. Now is not the time to give up. And I know I have to plead with my people every single week. Well, Mike and I, we talk about this in the background. We know. We know that as soon as everything starts going crazy, then the phone will be jumping off the hook at Quest Unite Africa.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Well, how come? Can you help? How come? I need help. Hey, you're just saying something now. We've been asking for over a year now. Yeah, but. And that's what our people do. I saw it getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You all were talking about it getting worse and worse, and I just froze there like a deer in the headlights. Did
You're
you?
seeing things. I'm sorry,
It's
wait,
like,
bro.
yeah, it's like, okay, when we were calling and asking for support, how come you never supported? Well, I'm here now. Yeah, you are here now. And we now have this thing's blown up. They're going to be able to help you when we can help you. But we have volunteers here. We were asking for the help. We were asking for the support. We were asking for the volunteers. You know, instead of asking for your handout, you could have been here supporting the effort. Because what's the adage? If you are not a help, then what happens? When things hit the fan, if you ain't a help, you are, in fact, a hindrance. Especially if you've been on Covenant Awakenings platform and Quest Unite Africa Live discussions. And we've been saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Please support. Please help. Please help. Please help. Wait a second. You want my oil? And you didn't bring your own oil?
There you go.
Come on now. That's literally what the scriptures even talk about. Well, I fell asleep. I didn't think anything was going to happen. If you think we're making this up, hey, that's between you and the Most High. If you don't want to support, that's between you and the Most High. I don't have a dog in that fight. Prayer does work. But faith comes by action. We're asking you to take action. Whatever the Most High places on your hearts to give, that's what we're asking. I have to say, I know our people, man, the Eurocentric construct has been, if I get in trouble, put my head in the sand. A part of what I'm going through right now has been because of that. I got faith. I got faith. The Most High's going to take care of it. I got faith. Oh, it's going to be all right. I got faith. Oh, I got faith. And then I have to ask people, was it faith that took out Goliath? Because there's a whole bunch of Israelites shaking when they saw Goliath. I'm sure they were praying too. Or did a young man, happen to be a boy, stand on the Most High's word and say, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to slay this giant that's breathing all this slanderous nonsense on my Elohim. If you didn't know, that's why you have to read the scriptures. Because if you don't read the scriptures and you don't understand and you don't ask the Most High, how do we avoid the traps that our forefathers had gone into? He'll give you the answer. If you didn't know, that's what Saul was doing. Saul did not want to confront the giant. Saul was scared. Well, I was praying. And that's not an indictment on anyone. I've been through that too. Fear has you avoiding things instead of actually slaying the beast or the dragon or the giant or whatever principality is in front of your face. Abraham did not go to the promised land just by staying in Ur. Well, Father, I have faith that I'm going to stay here and you're going to bring up a cart and you're going to fly me in through whirlwinds and I'm going to get there. No, he went and brought his family. That means he packed everything up and everybody up and said, time to move.
Action. That's what David did. He took action. He was not looking at that giant. That's one thing he was not doing. But he was placing his faith in the Most High. And he knew with the Most High's blessing, he knew he was going to take that giant down. Everybody else was right there was shaking in fear. But he did not. Oh, David was what, 13 years old?
It was like 12 or 13 years. Yeah, very young.
Right.
Pretty young.
But the Most High, yeah. And but he knew that battle was going to be the Most High's battle. That's that faith. He was not looking at how tall, how large this man was. He looked well past that. And he struck him dead.
Mm-hmm.
Struck him dead. Because he believed, he knew who he was fighting for. And then that's when everybody else started cheering and celebrating for one person who maintained his faith. Everybody else was happy.
Read that in 1 Samuel.
Yeah.
Read it in 1 Samuel. Because why? Because it said this. And when you read that scripture, it said, and the men of Israel lost heart. Well, let me pray. Let me continue to pray. Let me pray. I'm not saying that prayer isn't a good thing. Yes, you pray. But we've turned that into losing heart. Because the Most High will still require you to step out of your comfort zone. And I've been dealing with that every single day this week.
Yeah, that comfort zone, I tell you, it's something else. That comfort zone, whew, man, if you're weak of heart, you will question. You will question the Most High. Why do I need to step out of my comfort zone? And hey, our forefathers did it when they left Egypt. They crossed the Red Sea and they started complaining about water, meat, and then they wanted to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Comfort zone. Yeah. Got to come out of it.
Yeah, being comfortable will literally lead you to your destruction.
Yes, off the top.
It is. I'm too comfortable to say anything. I'm too comfortable to, not mention it. I'm too comfortable to, it's going to be somebody else's problem. I'm too comfortable. That's how nations get destroyed. That's how peoples get destroyed. Because you want to know why? Because the enemy sees people in comfort, and then guess what? They exploit it. If you didn't know, that's literally what's happening right now. They may have said, oh, this outage is because of some sort of, patch or whatever. Hey, it is what it is. But I would say this, don't get too comfortable. See, for all the cybersecurity folks that have been in here, if you've taken a cybersecurity course recently, I have. They'll show you the little McAfee and Norton and all this other stuff, antivirus software, and you'll see the little metrics of all the attacks that have been occurring each and every day, every single hour. This place stays under attack. Some attacks are successful and other attacks are fended off. It is how it is. Shalom, Big Red.
What's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Cool. I picked a great day to take the day off.
Oh yeah.
We were saying, man, we were saying Red's not working today. And Microsoft down, I know he's not working.
Nope, I am
Red's
not
fault.
working.
That's
I see all the chatter too, boy. It's hectic out there.
Did anything get restored yet?
Nah.
Did anything get restored yet? I didn't think anything. Yeah.
Our phones are down. We got all kinds of phone systems that are down because they all use CrowdStrike for the security. CrowdStrike is a huge cybersecurity. Like, that's a big boy. As a matter of fact, I think they had a booth at the last security summit I went to. They were big. So, yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like airports all over the world, from Germany, Japan, India, whole airports down. People had to get off the plane because they couldn't fly because everything was down.
Oh my goodness.
You see technology?
Financial systems down, point of sale systems down. If you got paid today, praise the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Thank him. A lot of people did. It's bad. It's really bad. I think the Most High. I picked this day like a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, oh man, I think the Most High ain't got to work today because I know they would have been trying to drag me into those. It's not my duty to do it, but I know I would have gotten dragged into those meetings, and I'm like, oh no.
So, just to let you know, I am a cybersecurity professional. If anybody needs cybersecurity help, just reach on out to Quest Unite Africa. I will offer that as my service. It's not cheap. Look, we have some issues. It's going to be $500 an hour. $500 an hour. I'm letting you know. We'll get some pen testers on up in there. We'll figure. Look, and you know what though? Here's the funny thing. We're actually not kidding. We're not kidding on that because here's the thing. As Quest Unite Africa, as a 501c3 nonprofit, Red, how many discussions have we had regarding this within the last 3-4 months? How many discussions do we have?
I mean, you've got to constantly have a security discussion,
no,
given the nature of what we do.
No, Red. Remember in March, and I was because I was out the week in March. I was working on my certified information systems security professional certification. I took a course. And I told Red, look, Red, it was throughout, literally, what was it throughout, Red? Almost all April?
Yeah, I think we took a month course or whatever for it.
And I said, Red, I need your help because I'm not necessarily strong on the technical stuff, but I am real strong on the physical. And really about 80% of it is physical and 20% is very technical. Red is your technical guy. I am your physical guy. And I said, Red, we need to offer these, cybersecurity solutions. Red, is it not funny that we had this conversation less than 3-4 months ago, and look at all this?
Honestly, I feel like cybersecurity is a misnomer. All of the alphabet agencies already have back doors into everything. As a matter of fact, most of this stuff, these hacks and all that, they come from the alphabet agencies. Like the big one that got dumped out accidentally, quote unquote, by the CIA, that got dumped on the dark web, that all of a sudden, this is the reason why you see all these ransomwares and stuff that came out of their little playbook. Mossad has some crazy ones. They got one that's so good, you don't even have to click on nothing in your phone, and they can put it on your phone.
That's when you're real targeted.
Oh yeah,
that's when you're real targeted.
This company in Canada, they actually found it first and they cracked it, and then Al Jazeera presented it, and they tested everybody in Al Jazeera's phones, and every single one of their phones had it.
Every single one. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's this is, if these systems come from these folks, if it has a cryptography standard in it, they've got a backdoor in it. This is their way of getting it. This is why they stifle innovation. And anytime anybody comes up with something, they try to buy you out or get your keys. That's what the big thing with Apple was a little while ago, which I'll give Apple some credit. They did push back, but eventually they gave up and balked. Apple, all the companies will give their keys away to the government if they ask. Don't believe that, oh, we're a private VPN company and, what are you getting? No, feds ask for their records. They're going to get their records. I've been in companies for internet service providers, and we gave the feds access to the back end where it don't even matter if you were using the VPN. They were right there at the source. Sniffing all your data right there in the hub, right outside your house. So it's just going to show that this is, an update that knocks everything down. Just like I said, when the sunspot one, when AT&T got hit and they tried to say, oh, it was a solar flare. So I guess the sun just had beef with AT&T and nobody else, and then that happened. This same thing here it has underlying tones to it. We got to realize that this has been going on for a minute. It's been small ones that's been happening for a while. It's just that this is big enough that people had to pay attention to it. But this has been happening for a while. Systems have been going down. I remember last month Microsoft had like a midday outage. Like they've been getting slapped all for a while now. Also.
Yeah, that's it. It's still. I've been checking some sites and some things. It's still very pervasive. It is still happening. This is crazy.
It's bad. I thought they would have fixed it by
Wow.
now, honestly, but it's they've been putting out. I still see my stuff from work, and they've been sitting out advisories. A lot of stuff is still down. Yeah, it's mainly like airports, point of sale stuff. If you have any kind of Microsoft, if you're using any company that uses CrowdStrike, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much they're dead in the water. You got signs in New York, the signs on in Times Square, blue screen.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
It's bad.
And so, Red, I think it's safe to say though. I think it's safe to say though, we need to definitely revisit the security services. Is that can we safely assume that?
If you are and this is one thing that small businesses always overlook because they're like, "Oh, I'm small, it doesn't matter," and blah blah blah. That's the mindset because it's always money. You have to think about like, look at a situation like this. This happened because they use the big boy CrowdStrike and stuff. I wouldn't personally use big boys. I try to avoid them because of stuff like this. Because the bigger you are, the bigger a target you are. All the big companies have been hit like in the last few years. There are lots of other companies that still do a lot of really good services that aren't the hugest, but they still do amazing services. There was one I know of. They were all former military guys, and I think they were down here in Florida, and they did great work. They actually got bought out by another bigger company, but they still not huge. So when you're doing your small business, a lot of times you kind of overlook these things because you're like, oh, it's money, I gotta spend money. But these are important things. I mean, if you gotta ask yourself, how long can I afford to not work? How long can I afford to be down? Because this is the kind of stuff that you have happening like right here. This happened because this is definitely a cyber attack. Don't. They're like, oh, it's an update. The way you do updates, you don't globally push an update.
I know. There's no GPO policy on every single company there. No, what it is that you push
a general rollout.
Yeah, you do exactly. So you will see an email that if you're an administrator, if you're an engineer, right, a sysadmin, you'll get the email update. Please update your systems now.
And when you do an update,
do
updates like that, they don't just push one big update. Even when you do updates for all software, you do it regionally, and then even by the region, especially if you're big, especially as big as CrowdStrike is, you're going to do it regionally, and then you're going to break each region down, and then you do the updates in a little pattern. So I'm quite sure if they do a system update, it probably takes like a week or so because they're doing updates in all the different areas at different times in a staged fashion because you want to avoid some junk just like this. So if I update America in the Southeast first, oh crap, there's a problem. Well, I'm certainly glad we didn't globally push that. Let's fix this Southeast thing, and then we can fix everybody's update. So this was a hack.
Yeah, so you have some cybersecurity professionals with Red and I on up here. I thank you, Red, for coming on up here. Thank you, Journey with us, because as I had said earlier, mentioning their live stream, I was just getting up, cracking my eyes open, and seeing they were talking about that today, and I'm like, what? So it took me a little bit, and then I called Mike, and Mike was like, nah, you got all this stuff going on. So they're on the continent, they're hours ahead of us, which is good because it gives us that, okay, this is tag, you're it, this is what the day is looking like for you all. Okay, thanks. I didn't.
It was a great morning to wake up and be off, I'll tell you that.
I know,
When I woke up and saw that, I was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Red, we needed you to come on in here, so
Yeah.
our TPS reports got all messed up.
Oh yeah, them TPS reports gonna have to wait till CrowdStrike get their stuff together.
Oh my goodness.
It's still going. This has been going for a while. This is
Yeah. You
this
know
is
what
pretty
though?
big.
You know what though? When they said it was like a policy update, I'm like, that's why I didn't. I was very selective earlier today because I'm like, so, you know,
Right. You don't want to just jump in and say, oh, it's you don't want to go to the extreme because things do happen.
Exactly.
That's what I did too. I kind of looked into it because I'm like, okay, you don't want to just go in and be, conspiracy brother about it. Because accidents happen. But bro, an update, come on.
Exactly. At this level,
this is the second one that they're blaming on an update. This AT&T one, they said the same thing. Oh, it was an update. You don't do updates like that. Like that may work for the lay person who doesn't understand, but everybody in IT should be looking at them side eye right now. Because, like, bro, who pushes global updates? Who does that? You have a worldwide footprint, and you're just gonna hit the button and do everybody at the same time?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. That is. Yeah, and I can tell you, according to my ISC2 book, I can pull that on out there right now. Nah, that is never. You always do things sectioned off. You even have your own DMZs for each particular organization that then gives different MACs. So then things can get shadowed. So it's not on out there that it can just get hacked like that.
Exactly.
So
dude, when I worked at Avaya, at our main data center over in St. Pete, they had a big data center that was literally just for testing. It wasn't like a main data center for the main systems. This was just for support. And inside there, we had client configurations, like some of the biggest clients, they had reproductions of their environment.
Yep.
And then they had certain places where they can put something together to reproduce a client environment like that. Like they'll download the programming and all that. So again, CrowdStrike is no different. I'm quite sure, just like you said, they have a DMZ. And for those who don't know, DMZ means that it's a section that's basically cut off. It's like its own little area of network-wise, logically. So it's like this own little section where they can have a sandbox and you can basically do stuff there and it won't affect the rest of the network. So they have these things where they build it and they push it to tests and say, okay, this is like, these things go through heavy QA. They don't just push out an update. Like this is you can tell that to everybody else, but I'm like, nah, bro.
Y'all are getting a free cybersecurity class here with Q2UA Africa. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah,
this is a free cybersecurity class that you're getting this morning, and it is a demilitarized zone. That's right, Obadiah. But that just goes to show you the intricacies of even us doing this live stream. If that was the case, I mean, I'm going to tell you this. If that was the case, especially something Microsoft supported, CloudStrike supported, these little containment things, you have the ability to partition off, as Red was saying, different environments, different areas. Hey, we're going to focus on, IPs X, Y, and Z that we own, and then IPs this side. I know that. I understand that. I just wasn't going to speak to that because, Red is our consummate IT professional. When I told you, I said, look, when I told you earlier, I said how Red got things set up with Q2UA Africa. I said I was confident that, everything was good because I even talked to Red about CrowdStrike and Varonis, last year? Remember that, Red?
Yeah, we were talking about CrowdStrike last year when you were going through the class. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, and Red was like, Brother Karras, we don't need all that. I got you. Well, looks like Q2UA Africa is still working because, family, we need those donations in here right now.
You got to think smart in this day and age. You can't just go with the popularity, and that requires putting in work. And I can tell y'all from experience, a lot of people don't like to put in work in IT. They'll regale you with all sorts of pseudo talk. They'll use the lingo and stuff, and that'll throw the confusion on you. They'll come in there and be like, "Oh yeah, you got to get your ISDN for your 501c with the T358B, and regale you with them words, but they don't know what they're talking about."
ISO 2012 20 something 2021 1153 4025. What does that mean? I don't know.
Exactly.
IEE 5840. I took a class, and that's how it is. Okay. Look, I'm going through here because look, I'm showing you all. Here it is.
Yeah, we up.
We up.
Yeah,
we're all the way up. Nothing can stop Q2UA. We're all the way up.
Now, Microsoft tried to do something goofy, but then I've tried to safeguard us against most stuff, because knowing how these things work, from the inside, and from seeing people just neglect simple little things, you can ask Brother Karras and the board. They have to hit me up all the time. Hey, Red, is this email in quarantine?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
listen, I sent an email, right? to some very important people the other day. Man, how long did I wordsmith that email? I was on line with the whole board. Wordsmith that email, like, oh, we need to do this, add that. It was a good 20, 30 minutes. When I send out those types of emails, it is a good 20, 30 minutes. And I had just sent out an email to another government, literally, on Sunday. And I said I copied everybody. And then I looked, and I'm like, that email didn't even come into my inbox. We red checked it out on what? I think it was Wednesday afternoon or yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. And then Red's like, oops, we caught all those emails.
Hey, I have it set up. At first, I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I did think about, man, maybe I should. It's a little strict, but I'm like, nah, you can't afford nothing, because this is when you come up with an issue, because you're like, oh, we're just this, we're that. No, we're not. We're dealing with governments and stuff, and as you see, this is the type of stuff that's going on, and you gotta think ahead. And that's the kind of thinking, and that's the kind of stuff that we do, that's encouraged here, because we have to think ahead. You can't get caught. And it's a battleground going on. It's like a secret, third wave. What's the word you would call it, Brother Karras? Let's see, third wave warfare. What do they call it?
Yeah, waves. It's the first, like fifth wave, like the movie, but it's the waves. You're right. You come through. And it's asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical.
Warfare. That's what it is. Asymmetrical warfare. But see, family. But that's what they hate. They hate this. As an IT guy, I hired a black man. I hired a black man. That's an IT job. He's doing IT. He's doing a black job. I hired a black man to do a black job.
It's a black job now. You darn DEI IT guys. DEI. DEIT. Exactly.
That's what they hate us, because I'm sorry. If y'all just came earlier or later,
Oh,
let me pull this. Let me pull this clip on out. I am sorry, family, but I have to show you this clip. I have to.
Y'all forgive these two BEIT guys up here.
I have to show you this because you cannot you can't make this up. It's so sad. You can't make this up. Oh, let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Here we go. I said this. I said this in my interview. I was just like this with my interview.
And so it's all about treating people with dignity, and it's about making sure that, look, I mean, for example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. I named the Secretary of Defense a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. The Secretary of Defense a black man. I named Ketanji Brown.
Oh my goodness. The black man. The black man with his black job.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
Yeah, we were going in on that one earlier in this show. Oh, that was hilarious.
The black man.
Oh, because I named the black man. we
got man. We voted for him.
we got a black man doing the black job for brother Red.
He voted for Biden. That's how we know he's black. We've already verified him.
Yep. We're here. We're not going to put our 501c3 in jeopardy. We're apolitical, but but Biden did say if you're not black, then you didn't vote. You didn't vote. Yeah,
that's right.
So we just have to recall that a little. That didn't come out of our mouths.
So nice of this white man to tell us our blackness. I was so confused before I did. Oh man.
That was on BET News.
That makes it even worse.
That's even worse. Like you see that BET News.
I'm on the black station, so I gotta talk about the black man.
He was a brother. He was a brother. Oh man. Yo, Red. If you weren't on earlier, let me show you this. Because this one really had me dying.
So if you're Republican, you say my African American. And if you're Democrat, you say the black man.
Yo, Red, this one really had me dying right here. From WhiteHouse.gov.
Oh, Lord.
This is before CrowdStrike.
Stop it. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real.
That calls CrowdStrike. That happened. Shut it down, scrub everything.
Bro, ain't no way. Babylon B.
Oh,
that's hilarious. The black man, Secretary of Defense.
Man, that was wildly ignorant right there, but really funny.
Dude, that's hilarious. That is absolute. I'm telling you, it's like Idiocracy, man. This junk is too silly.
Oh, what?
You got the next president talking about he finna tour with 50 cents, and then you got this mess.
Who did these? Who did these?
Oh man, the black man. That's hilarious.
Oh. Oh, okay, Ninja Firewolf. Okay, all right, thank you. Man. How am I gonna get that? Let me see if I can grab that. Because I really wanted to show that one too. Let me see if I can grab that. That was a good one.
I was grabbing it, put it in the put it in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see here. Let me see here. Shaking everybody's hands. Let me see if I can blow that. Can I get that out a bit more?
No, because it's it's recorded off the phone.
Yeah, so it's an embed on that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So he sees her. She makes eye contact. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Ninja Firewolf's comments blocking it.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Sorry. Oh yeah. Okay. So he's getting ready to shake. Looks like he's getting ready to shake her hands. And sorry, family, I have to say this.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of Tariq Nasheed, you know I'm coming that. You know I'm coming from Red. You know I'm coming from Red. In the words of Tariq Nasheed, them odds was bucking. I'm sorry I had to be ignorant, family. I'm sorry I had to be ignorant. Them odds were bucking. Oh my goodness.
It's boss about to shake my hand. This is the happiest day I've ever had. I was about to shake the hands of Massa.
I'm sorry.
He's like, Massa.
I'm sorry, family. Them odds was bucking.
He the master of the big house, of the big house.
and then from the Bucks, the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, family. From the Buccaneers, here it goes.
Oh.
The disappointment. Do you see it went from the Buccaneers to disappointment?
Hey, you heard it instantly. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I can't make this up. Oh my goodness.
Her whole worldview was crushed. Oh, she's so sad. I kind of feel sorry for her slightly.
Man.
Hey, she is visibly crushed. That's sad. But, you know, maybe that's what it's going to take to get you out the sunken place.
Man, what did yo? He had his hand out like, oh, stick my head back. Oh, stick my
like, how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
He was moving his hand out the way like, what? Can't touch this. Ah, can't touch this. Ah.
He ain't that old and crazy.
Exactly. If you wanted to check Joe Biden's mental facilities, that racism is still coming on out. I don't care what you say.
He ain't that much in the cognitive decline. He can still recognize darky.
That's what the Democrats are trying to use. Look, see, he's good. See, he skipped over the black person like he knew he did, and he answered all of his questions. He's such a good boy.
Cognitive awareness, boy.
Oh,
he skipped right over her. I think he looked at her the whole time while he did it too. That's the part that makes it savage.
Yeah, it was. Cause man, I'm sorry, the screenshot on the look at the buck. She had the eye contact, all sorts of bucking, the heart's palpitations and fluttering.
And then he went to the side of her right now. That's the disrespect.
Yeah.
The disrespect. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can see she visibly, her whole countenance just dropped.
Yeah. She
went
was
home and
all
questioned life.
That's truly a shame, family. Let me stop that there. That's a shame. That's a shame. We got to get on off of here. Brother Garth is going to be joining the Q2UA channel family. He is going to be on at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in less than 20 minutes. That's going to be exclusively on Quest Unite Africa. If you have not subscribed to Quest Unite Africa, here's the awesome thing, family. It does not cost you any money to hit that subscription bell and that notification button on Quest to Unite Africa's channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. So please show some love and support for our family here. I'm sure that either Brother Mike, when he comes on today at noon, or Brother Garth, he'll be on in about less than 15 minutes. I'm sure they'll have to bring some perspective to our African brothers and sisters on the continent.
Getting a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, and you're right, Shuttler. I think she had to have been at least maybe 14 or 15, if not 16. You know, and that breaks down a person's confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you don't even want to shake my hand. What? Because now she's questioning herself. Am I even worth anything? That's a shame. Like, we don't understand all these things. We may look at it as innocuous. We may look at it as, oh, it really doesn't matter. No, it does.
It happened in Korea too. A lot of black girls like these Korean K-pop groups. They don't like our women. This dude, I think I forget his name. He came out and he was doing the same thing like Biden, shaking hands, and he skipped all the way over the black girl and kept going. I'm like, just gonna keep wondering, like, how long. It's mainly with the young generation because they've been telling them and they bought into it that we're all equal, and they finding out the hard way you're not.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. But family, we thank you for your support. Brother Red, thank you for jumping on here after you done broke the internet. It's your fault. It got to be some black guy to blame. We might as well just start blaming you right now.
That's right. I should have did that update.
Before you took your time off, why did you mess up that patch? Who was your superior? Wait a second. Don't answer that question of who your superior was. We're not trying to throw any white people under the bus.
Right before I clocked out, I hit update, put on my hat, and hit the door.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness.
Oh,
that's funny. All right, well, family, I gotta stop with the jokes because I getting things messed with the government. Gotta be bucking the eyes. That's me. Bucking the eyes. Thank you.
CrowdStrike was using the government too, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So the government's probably down, but they're more compartmentalized. So you probably had more things affected. It just depends on the platform of what sensitivities, that they had. And even if they did, they weren't going to tell you. That's just how it goes. They were not going to tell you.
See, that makes two in the past 4 years, big major companies with government ties that have been hacked. That are a part of the back end system. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. They're saying they're down on a lot of systems. Yeah, a lot of our people.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that goes. Hey, that just goes to show you how pervasive this is. So it's going to be a lot of disruptions. So continue to pray for our people.
Yep.
Man, and I just saw that article too. Russia sentences Wall Street Journal reporter 15 years or 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a spy. They said that they've been catching, which I mean that checks out because when you start looking into a lot of these journalists, like what's his name, the dude with the white hair that's connected to the Vanderbilts, he's from the CIA. He was a CIA intern, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, Anderson Cooper. Yep.
And Anderson Cooper.
Man. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm not qualified to say nothing on that one. Look,
Yeah.
I'm just a black man. I'm just a black man that had a black job in the military. Military just have black jobs. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just a little DEIT high. That's what I heard them say.
Listen, Oz was just happy as I was able to get me my checks on the 1st and 15th. Oh boy, I said thank you.
Mm-hmm. So Miss Vanderbilt and them is good people. They's good white people.
They good. Well, if anything that this should let folks know, go visit Q2UA Africa and click on the Nature's Legacy Garden. So what happens as this stuff starts to get progressively worse? You'll have your own food that you have grown naturally. And then you're going to have to hide your food because then people are going to be realizing that you're eating. What you eating? Man, I'm just as skinny as you. No, you're not.
I'm gonna start selling like little malnourishing shirts so that way you can fool people.
You got the little skinny shirt,
Exactly. We're gonna send you some flies and some honey, some flies to come around to the selling.
Oh, I'm just as hungry as you are. You don't look like it. We don't see all your cheekbones. Nah, man.
You see these flies flying around me? Nah, man, you got to send me $1 a day. Look, I look like the kid from the Africa commercials.
Yeah, you're gonna have to build your secret garden. Listen, sometimes that's what it's gonna be looking like.
Man, so they're gonna be thinking it's how them commercials they used to be showing us in the 90s. It's gonna be looking like that, but white kids in America.
Man, remember Germany was like saying that a couple of like last year. Germany was actually saying that. I wish I could find that commercial. We got to find that commercial. We'll find that commercial. We'll play that sometime next week, but not on Q2UA Africa. We're going to do that on Coming Awaken.
Yeah.
We already been skirting the line just a little bit here. Just a little bit.
just tap it.
Just a little bit. So we'll have to go through and heavily redact these comments that we're saying. But
now we appreciate Biden. Biden lets us know that we is black and he appreciates us.
Yeah.
He's cognitive and attentive.
We said nothing bad about Biden. We did not say nothing bad. He likes a black man. He got one that's a Secretary of Defense.
That's right. I was so shocked when I looked and they said they had the black man. I was like, what?
At least he said black man and not a people of color. Hey, that's a win right there.
We ain't colors no more. Well, prayers be.
Oh my goodness. All right, family. I gotta get up on out of here. Get ready for Brother Garth on Q2UA Africa. Q2UA Africa. Get ready for Brother Garth. Put your hands together for Brother Garth.
Give him an Arsenio intro.
Exactly. Show your love. Show your love.
I want everybody out here to put your hands together for my brother, my man, God, Andrew. Give him a Steve Harvey intro.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Coming live to the stage on the Q2UA Apollo. Oh boy. All right, I gotta get up on out of here. All right, well, family, you all have an awesome week. You all have a safe week. Thank you again for your support in these Question Night Africa discussions live. And again, be safe, especially with the cyber attack stuff going on. Supposedly, let me say supposedly, we don't know what really is happening. But yes, just be safe. Hallelujah. And pray for one another. So with that said, family, I am gonna jump off and let Garth come up here and do his thing at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, brother Garth. You're on. All right. So with that, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.